So hello, I am .exe and this is my video about Juri's changes in Street Fighter 5 in Season 5. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because some people haven't really react uh, in a good way to Juri's patch notes. Like a lot of people seem to think that Juri didn't really got any significant changes and they think she sucks now. And I actually don't think so. I honestly think Juri got some changes in season 5 that might help her out a lot. And in this video I wanted to present to you guys. Because I honestly think some changes could really help her. I hope this goes well. This is my first video, so I hope I don't mess it up too hard. So let's go through her change list. So first, Juri got the universal life and stun buff. She now has 975 health instead of 950 and 1000 stun instead of 950. Yeah, already a nice change, but yeah, that's like that's like a, as I said, it's a universal change, so it's across the board. That's like genuinely a nice change because that means that rounds will probably take a little bit longer. So her overhead is now -7 on block. This is also a universal change. It used to be -6. I don't really get why they made this. I think this is a pretty unnecessary universal change. And the frames where she was airborne are now throw invincible, so she doesn't get air resetted anymore, which is a slight nerf, but like it's pretty irrelevant to be honest. And she didn't really had many airborne frames anyways, even though the animation shows her being much longer airborne than just 5 frames. But yeah, it's not really big, so let's go on. A bigger change is that her medium DP now has 10 has 3 active frames on the first hit, and it also has longer invincibility, as well as heavy and medium DP have bigger hitboxes on the first frame. Which a common complaint from Juri players was that her DP would lose against certain jump-ins or against dive kicks. And I actually tested it before this video, and her medium DP actually beats. Damn, it's kind of loud for me. And for this video I tested it out, and her medium DP now actually beats dive kicks really consistently. Even though it doesn't look like much on the patch notes, it is actually quite a lot. So against Nikali, he has a dive kick, and against Nikali, if he would have done dive kick before, and I would DP early because, well, I expect him to do a normal jump in, my DP would mostly lose because of the delay of his dive kick. But now her DP always wins against a dive kick. At least when I tested it, it always won. So let's show it here. That was a pretty accurate timing, but now do it earlier. So that was a pretty early timing on the DP. Only 2 hits of the DP connected. And before, if I would have DP'd that early, his dive kick would have just straight up beaten my DP. I even tested this against Young Zeku wall dive and against Mika dive bomb, and even against young Zeku's wall dive, it worked. I didn't lost a single time. Against Mika, I lost. It can still lose, but even against Mika's dive bomb, it's much more consistently, which is kind of big. And it probably works better against Kami now too. I'm gonna change Nikali, the character, because Nikali is kind of annoying for this video, because his idle animation has a kind of a big sound. So I picked Juri again because of a change later. She has one standing free frame and one crouching free frame, which is gonna be important for a later change I show. So medium DP is now a much better anti-air and works consistently now, which has been a common complaint about some Juri players, and that they changed that. It's not a big change, but it's a pretty cool quality of life change, which I think she needed. So the other change is, which in my opinion might actually be the biggest change Juri got in this patch, is because her heavy DP now has a bigger hitbox. It actually works in combos now. Like, it already worked in some combos before, but not every hit would connect. And let's show you. So I do medium punch, standing medium kick into DP here. Oops, yeah, well, she shouldn't block. As you can see, all the hits connected. If I would have done that before, the DP wouldn't. Not all hits of the DP would have connected. So it now works better in combos, but this is not the only combo where it works better. Now, so the combo before the patch that I would have done off target combo was this. Now, after the patch, I can do this. Oops. You see that? Before the patch, the heavy DP would have not worked there. And now, I can do target combo into full hard charge into heavy DP, which does not only give me better damage, but also better Oki. This is pretty good, because now Juri can actually charge a store and also get damage. Better damage on Oki. And another combo where it works better is this. That DP would have not worked at all before the patch. And I think this is kind of huge, because before you would have done this. So this is 242 and the other did 266. And so the damage is not only better with the DP, but you also get better Oki off of the heavy DP. So as you can see, if I dash after flip kick mid screen, I'm +8. After heavy DP, I'm +12, so I have more frame advantage. And I think the flip kick also pushes away a little bit more, but let me show this. So let me do I think that's standing light punch. Yeah. So okay, I think I should go to the other side. So let me do this combo now, and I'll show you the meaty that I would do after the combo ender. So the reason why I showed this is wait a second. I kind of have to. So what I want to show here is, oops. So I'm gonna change her recovery now to back roll after the flip kick. You see that? She instantly pressed jab on wake up, and after back roll, Juri doesn't really get any good meaties because the opponent is too far away, and this does not happen with heavy DP. So that was just normal get up, and now we do back roll. As you can see, my meaty, I could actually do my meaty combo there, which I could not do with flip kick because I have more frame advantage. And I think this is huge because now Juri does not only get better damage in her combos but also better Oki. I honestly think this is huge. Like, not absolutely game changing, but I think it really helps out a lot. Like, that was, in my opinion, this was kind of a problem last season, that after flip kick, if your opponent would back roll, you didn't really got anything, and now you actually get something. Wait a second, I actually didn't test it out before. Like, can you do that? Okay, now you can't do that, unfortunately, but yeah, it's not that bad, to be honest. So now I also show you the damage difference. So that does 317, and this does 341. That's not and better Oki. So that is really good. That is really good. I think that might actually be the biggest change Juri got in this patch. So that is really good. And now the next change is they decreased the pushback on hit after medium for a Wankyaku. I just call it Fuha here. Which is, I think, also the reason why you can now do this. But that does not only mean that you can do this now, but this combo now, but it also means that you can do stuff like this now on a crouching opponent. So that combo already worked before on crouching opponents. The problem was just that you had to do a little micro walk there, a 1 frame micro walk, which made that combo pretty inconsistent and not really worth going for. But now that works consistently on crouching opponents, which is really good. I mean, you will not always get your opponent crouching with this, but if you do, you get some really good damage. You can also recharge the store. Oops. Yeah, you can also do stuff like this. Why? Sorry, I keep doing the wrong combo, guys. Oh, oops. I accidentally showed another change they made for her. Yeah, you can now cancel the second hit of the X-Fuhar into V-Trigger. I didn't really experiment it what things you can do with it, but it might be pretty helpful in maybe some situations, and it's also plus 3 on block. If you would have, what's the word for? If you would just let rip the full animation and then activate the V-Trigger, it's 0. So it's a much better activation. I think the main reason why they made this change is because of the trigger 2. So you can now cancel EX Fuha on hit into V trigger 2. Because before, if you would have activated EX Fuha into V trigger 2, this would happen. Yeah, you see that? If you would have done that before, you would have been -10 on hit. I repeat myself, you were -10 on hit before. I mean, you never really hit V trigger 2, and you still pretty much never do it. But I think this is the main reason why they changed it. But yeah, it also gives her a buff to V trigger 1, which is not game changing, but it could be helpful in some situation. So the next change is they increased the range on the Fuha charge after standing or crouching jab. That didn't work before. Before, if you would have done that, the Fuha charge would just whiff. And now you can do 2 jabs into Fuha, which is not a super big change, but it could be helpful in some situation, and it also can be helpful in some pressure scenarios when you this, for example. Like, you could maybe even sorry, you could maybe make some better pressure strings into the Fuha charge now. So the next changes are not too relevant, I think. The next change is her reversal got buffed a little bit. It now has 1 more active frame. Fun fact, Juri's reversal used to only have 1 active frame, like, since she came out, and that's like the only reversal in the game that only had 1 active frame before. Now it has 2, like most others. It's still not good because it hits too low. It can't really hit airborne opponents, and you still don't get anything after it. They reduce the recovery by 4 frames, but that doesn't change anything on the knockdown advantage you get. Unfortunately, I thought it would, but it actually doesn't, unfortunately. They also increased the block stop, but I think that's only relevant for the opponent if he blocks it. Like it now takes a frame long or something to block. I don't know. It's still the same on advantage on block, and to be honest, the reversal still pretty much sucks because, yeah, it's probably the worst strike reversal in the game. But it got slightly buffed. And lastly, her V trigger 2 got some changes. I don't really know if I should go into this because it's still trash. It's still trash. And it will always be. Like, to be honest, as long as they don't completely redesign her V trigger 2, I think no one is ever going to use it. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if Juri's V trigger 2 would steal meter of the opponent from full screen, I still wouldn't use it. Like, even if the V trigger would steal meter from this far away, I still wouldn't use it. Just because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do anything. So, but what they did is the meter doesn't start draining when she hits the opponent. Or I think it starts when she hits the opponent to drain. So it theoretically lasts like a tiny bit longer, but not huge amount. And they slightly increased the range where it steals meter from the opponent, which is nice, but it's still not good enough to make this V-trigger a good choice. Yeah. And I think that's it for this video. Like, my opinion on Juri right now is that there are probably more characters. There are probably still a lot of characters who are still better than her. But so far, I honestly think like almost every character is viable this season, and I think Juri is one of them who is probably viable. I mean, we still have to see how the tournament results are going to look like, but with the nerfs other characters receive, I think, and the small buffs Juri got with her damage and her combos, I think it could potentially really help her. But we gotta see it. We have to see. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope I didn't made a too terrible job with this video, and I hope I explained it good enough. And I hope maybe some people have a better opinion of Joey now. And maybe going to I'm going to make more videos in the future. Hope you liked it, and I see you maybe in my stream or in some other videos. And yeah, goodbye then.